Triathletes. They're a weird bunch of people. They wear odd-shaped helmets, skin-tight lycra, and look like an absolute bunch of misfits. But one thing that cannot be knocked about them is that they are aerobically fit, with great endurance, who have mastered the three disciplines of swimming, cycling, and running. However, how do these specific skills transfer over to other sports, specifically calisthenics? And this is where you're doing a lot of body weight functional movements. For example, sit-up, crunches, pull-ups, etc. I mean, the list goes on, and trust me, they get a lot harder than that, as we are about to find out. And I thought, what better way than test this by following Chris Heria's daily workout routine. And for those of you who don't know who he is a Greek-like god in the calisthenics world and is a beast of a human being. Firstly, I'm getting warmed up. There's no way I'm going into this cold because that would wreak absolute havoc and I'd probably die. I know that is genuinely not an exaggeration. I'm 3 surgeries deep already and I don't fancy any more. So I'm doing this properly, getting warmed up, getting nimble, and then we can smash it. And we're kicking it off with wall sits, adding weight until absolute failure and destruction. However, if I want the rep to count, I need to make sure that my legs are at a nice 90-degree angle as Chris was showing before. We started at 10 kilos and this was an absolute breeze, the same with 15, 20 and 30 kilos also. At 45 kilos, I felt amazing. My legs were warm and my body was used to the load, so I kept pushing on to 70 kilos, which is where I could start to feel the burn. I am not going to lie, but I was just soaking it in and enjoying it. Now, I was starting to get surprised with the weight I had on me at this point, as I'm only a skinny triathlete, so as you do, I decided to have a mid-workout celebration with a dog, before going balls to the wall and going for the big 120 kilos. Now this was one heavy ass wall sit and as you can tell by my face, it wasn't particularly easy and I was desperate at the end to get the weights off so I could just sit down and relax. On to the next one, which is the, the box jumps, which I'm looking forward to and I should be the best at this, I think. Now, I didn't have a box, so the bin was the next best thing, and there was a little bit of doubt to start with, I'm not going to lie. These things are big, but after a few tries, we got into the groove. For increasing the height, I added weight plates. The 25 kilo plate alone added an additional 10 centimeters, which felt like a hefty increase at the time. But I had the confidence and did it first try, which was a nice little win and made me realise I had a lot more in the tank. I went straight for another increase while I was feeling fresh, and just for reference, this is what it looked like against myself, and yet again I hit the jackpot and completed it with relative comfort. I need to be mega careful now as this thing gets higher, that I'm not just shinning my legs on the weights, because that would be so painful. My next attempt is 1.43 m and this looks and sounds very high, so please wish me luck because, yeah, this could go either way to be honest with you. Everything was going perfectly, so I tested the water at 1.50 m, which was the big landmark if you want to call it that. And I even did this twice, just to hammer the nail in the coffin and prove my point, and make sure that this was an absolute win, and that I had well and truly ticked the box. And then 1.54 m was just a little bit too far, and I couldn't quite get the icing on the cake. However, ho hey, we did pretty well. Now for exercise number 3, we're going to be doing some weighted plank holds. So this should be pretty juicy and I'm pretty excited to see how we get on with this. 10 kilos was a breeze and I felt pretty comfy and in control. I've got to also give a quick shout out to my gran for the commitment to run out the shot. 10 out of 10 effort there. 20 kilos and 35 kilos also felt very comfy and I think Bonnie was enjoying the company too with everyone out in the garden. I've got to say, the loading up process was possibly the hardest part of this challenge and I think my gran got a great workout out of this too. At this point, I was pretty sore because I've done all the other activities beforehand and I don't really train this stuff on a daily basis. So I was struggling, my body was sore. Anyway, I wanted to give one last attempt at a pretty heavy plank and this was at 55 kilos, which is basically 3/4, if not a little bit more of my body weight, so it was pretty tough. I shortly after collapsed and died, and Bonnie came to give me some much needed moral support, which was very much appreciated. I am feeling it, I am not gonna lie, my legs are starting to get a little bit heavy, and it's just a little bit, that's the best way of describing it if I'm being honest with you. And now we have the hard stuff. We're gonna do some freestanding handstands and see how that goes, and just some other sort of calisthenic classics, if you want to call it that, so we'll see how this goes. This should be a little bit exciting now. The handstands should have been looking like this, however that definitely wasn't the case, as you're about to find out.
Come on, push slightly forward through the wrists. Yes.
Almost.
Do that again, push into the wrist, push your wrists into the ground, your hands into the ground. That's it. Brilliant.
How long was that?
That was maybe 2 seconds. Go, push into your hands.
So, I think we can say that my handstands and my actual like pure calisthenics stuff, if you want to call it that, wasn't particularly the greatest. Like, I'm not going to try and pretend it was. It was dreadful. I even tried to do an L-sit at one point and that just flopped and fell apart, which I'll pop on the screen now so that you guys can see. I thought though, my planks, my wall sits and my box jumps were pretty good. Like, that's still, I guess, part of calisthenics and still a part of that workout routine. And I'm pretty happy with that. I thought the weights I could do were relatively good considering I never train this, like never. I practically swim, bike and run and occasionally, well, I do some gym work, but it's not stuff like that. So I was surprised with how well that actually went. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, because that would be greatly appreciated. I mean, if you've got this far, I would really hope you're doing that anyway, because that would mean a lot to me. There's some other cool videos coming up as well, so please stay tuned, and yeah, see you in the next one.